Ladies and gentlemen. We are Financial Markets, and we're still looking and breaking down some nuggets for you for investment, and of course providing opportunities for you here on the stock market. Courtesy is the data is of course the Uganda Securities Exchange, but the knowledge here is you need to understand the movements of prices. You need to understand the movements of the markets. You need to understand the history of a company. You need to understand the governance. You need to understand where you're going to put your money so that you put your money where you are actually able to benefit and be able to add some value to yourself. And talking about value, every time companies are going down, as Warren Buffett says, every time you're seeing all these challenges, economic problems, supply chain disruptions, and people going up and down looking for ways to run away from investing in this and investing in that, that is usually the most time you have to sit down and actually see through, see beyond the lens, see beyond what's being, of course, pictured for you on TV, that the economy is actually too bad. Is the economy really that bad? Yes, it could be, but what are the opportunities? Because nothing comes out of bad times like opportunity. Opportunity is everywhere during bad times. And definitely here we have been talking about several counters. We've talked about Umeme, we've talked about the other, probably what you've seen on the exchange as the gainers. Now let's take a look at some of the people that actually had some activity on the market. And I'll start off with Cipla Quality Chemical Industries. Cipla Quality Chemical Industries is a company, the only pharmaceutical company on the Uganda Securities Exchange. It's one of those companies that has really been so young on the company and is proving to be one of the most investable companies recently. After, of course, their financial results of year 2021, we saw that they became profitable for the very first time. That is registering a profit after tax for the first time since they were listed back in 2018. And yes, that's the graph there for the counter of Cipla Quality Chemicals. Not many changes in their pricings there. As you can see from high prices of last year's 100 shillings, Cipla dropped down to 90 Ugandan shillings. And you can see before that, they were trading steadily between the price of 90 and 100, only shifting slightly at certain points. But quite stable stock price they maintained there between the month of December 2021 and the month of April, actually the month of May 2022, as you can see there on the graph. And then slightly there was a drop from 90 down to 80 shillings, and there was also another drop from 80 shillings to 70. But before that drop, we see from 90 to 88. The prices were at 88 in the month of May 2022 for some weeks, several days or weeks there. And then the prices dropped from 88 to 80 for a couple of days as well, and then down from 80 to 70 shillings. Now, this is a stock that has only traded for about 4 years, since 2018, the 17th of September. They're going to make just about 4 years on the stock market. That is very young, or indeed, just only, I think MTN is the only counter that maybe can give us a little less of a period being listed on the exchange. But looking at the youngest stocks on the market, Cipla comes in there because it's just about 4 years, shy of 4 years on the Uganda Stock Exchange. And they trade under the ticker symbol CQCIL, and they also have an identification number called UG000196. Cipla Quality Chemicals on the market, however, they're the 11th most valuable. And this is where the story begins. We begin with the value, we go on to the position, we go on to the performances, and then we can evaluate other factors later. But In terms of value, they are the 11th most valuable, and they have a total market capitalization of 256 billion Ugandan shillings, which is about 1.14% of the entire capitalization of the Uganda Securities Exchange. Trading results from yesterday show they traded a total volume of 5,400 shares and a gross turnover of 378,000. And the shares outstanding at 3.65 billion shares bring their market capitalization to 256 billion Ugandan shillings on the market. In terms of trading, we had a recording of 1.2% drop on the previous day. If you remember, yesterday we had their opening price at 70.83 Ugandan shillings. That's how they opened the price, meaning if they're trading at 70, by the close of yesterday, they lost about 0.83 cents, 0.83 Ugandan shillings off their pricing. Cipla Quality Chemicals began the year with the total price of 92 Ugandan shillings and has since lost about 23.9% of that pricing. And in terms of year-to-date performance, they rank in position number 14. That is something to note as well. You have their year-to-date performance at 14. They are ranking on position number 14th. However, Cipla is the 7th most traded stock on the Uganda Securities Exchange over the past 3 months, and that is looking at the period between 28th of April to the 4th of August 2022. Cipla has traded within this period a total of 163,900 shares that are valued at 11.7 million over the period, and with an average of 2,602 traded shares per session. They have had a volume high of about 16,600 shares that was achieved on the 23rd of June 2022 for the same period. So when you look at their tradings, you see several shares being traded per day. You see 5,400, 9,200, not really big volumes, but moderate volumes that could suffice for the moment. And you see 5,000, you see 200, 500, 8,000, and so on and so forth. So you see some volumes being traded at least on every day at the Cipla Quality Chemicals. Should you invest in Cipla Quality Chemicals? Yes, 100%. It's a company that is promising growth. It currently only deals in drugs to do with HIV, anti-malarials. They also have a new drug called Cipladone, which is a painkiller, of course, competing with other painkillers on the market. But in terms of HIV drugs, they're the leading manufacturers, at least in Uganda for now, and they are the leading also in terms of hepatitis B drugs, diabetes drugs, and the like. But interestingly, this year they launched, not this year, but sometime back, they actually were able to launch a project where they're going to start manufacturing anti-cancer drugs, and that this will be a huge milestone for the company, and probably one that will also increase its value and increase their revenue, increase their profit, thereby increasing also the value of their shareholders. And so it is a company you should look out for if you're out there looking for long-term investments. Yes, Cipla is one of the companies. You will thank me later. Next year on the 5th of August 2023, you never know the stock price of Cipla Quality Chemicals. It could go to 100, it could go beyond 100, it could go to 200, who knows? Because whenever you're seeing value being added to a company, value being added to shareholders, that is the number one indicator of value being added to the stock exchange, and probably value to people who actually saw this coming in the long term and were able to invest in time. Free advice, you can take it or leave it, but Cipla Quality Chemicals is something to reckon with on the stock market. Let's move on now to Uganda, Bank Uganda. Stanbic Bank Uganda has also been one of the struggling companies besides Wumeme on the stock market, but they have really showed a very good performance recently, with this today being the second day they're gaining in a row. That's of course yesterday. And Stanbic Bank yesterday gained by 0.33 Ugandan shillings, and they gained to a price of 21 shillings per share. And this price comes at a 1.6% increase in their value. Now that's their graph. They are very, very turbulent. You can see several curves there between the month of December and the month of February 2022. You can see that they were between the prices of 25 and 26 and 27.5 as high prices there. Well, they began the year with a price of 26 shillings. If you can just track January there on the graph, you'll see that it will land at exactly 26 shillings. That's how they began the year. However, they are right now at 21 shillings, and that indicates about 19.2% loss of their initial price valuation. And in terms of year to date, they come just before CIPLA in the 13th position. Remember, CIPLA was the 14th. Now they're coming in the 13th position in terms of year to date rankings. Now, Stanbic Bank got listed in 2007 and has been trading for several years right now. Many people have been able to make money off this counter, I'm telling you, because first of all, it's very active on the market. You see very many people interested in buying stock. People are selling every now and then, and you see quite a good activity on the market. But also in terms of value, it's the 5th most valuable stock on the Uganda Securities Exchange. You can imagine, with a price of just 20 shillings, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 20, you have the 5th most valuable stock. And they have a market capitalization of 1.07 trillion. Now, if you want to know what I'm talking about, get the 1.07 trillion Ugandan shillings and divide it by the 21 shillings that we are looking at. That brings us to a total of over about 51.2 billion shares on the market that are floating on the market. And in terms of the percentage, they have about 4.81% of the Uganda Securities Exchange equity market, which is about 22 trillion. And so, yes, they have some value, they have some good activity, and they also have a very good year to date. Not very good, but at least not so bad year to date performance. Yesterday they traded 17,700 shares, and these were valued at 371,700 shillings at the moment. And in terms of year to date, I've already mentioned they are at a 19.2% loss of their price valuation. However, they rank position number 4 amongst the most traded stocks on the Uganda Securities Exchange over the period of 3 months. That is April 28th to August 4th, 2022. Stanbic Bank Uganda has traded a volume of 8.64 million shares within this period of 3 months. 8 million shares. And they're valued at about 190 million Ugandan shillings over the period, with an average of 137,097 shares that are traded per session on average. And they have a volume high of about 1.7 million shillings that was done on the 20th of May in the year 2022. And when you see their volumes, you can see some pretty good activity. You see 17,000 shares, you see 692,000 the day before yesterday, you see 120,000 on the 2nd of August, you see on the 1st of August, they have had 25,600 shares, meaning at least for the last 4 days, they have been having some activity. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, they had some trading done on the counter, despite the fact that their prices actually have gone down. They have competitors on the market that are dealing in the financial services sector. They have Bank of Baroda, you have DFCU Bank, you have Equity, and KCB Bank. And in terms of prices, amongst their competitors, they have the least price of 21 shillings. So when you compare their price with Equity, Equity has a price of over 1,500. You compare it with KCB, their price is over 1,300. You compare it with DFCU, they're at 547 per share. You have Centum at 304.76. Really, in the financial services sector, Stanbic Bank has the lowest share price on the market. And this, of course, makes it a very attractive performer on the market because also people are looking for what they can afford. You know, right now with 21,000, you have 1,000 shares. With 210,000, you have 10,000 shares. So people are looking for such, stocks. With 2.1 million, you can buy 2.1 million shares. So in terms of value, you're seeing that they are doing extremely well. And I want to advise that on such counters for very small prices, you can please buy a huge amount. Because look, if you buy 2.1 million shares right now at Stanbic, that's about 2.1. Well, shares worth 2.1 million. That's about 210,000 shares, and you sell them probably when the price has gone back. Let's say it goes up back to 226. That's about you're going to sell at about 2.6 million. You're going to see that you're going to make quite some good money if you do the calculations and you do your math right. And of course, this is exactly what we are aiming at. Thank you for remaining with us. You're still watching Financial Markets. I'm still taking you through the daily markets, how they went about yesterday. The market right now is open. It opens at 9 a.m. and closes at 1 p.m. But of course, if you want to buy shares right now, the settling time is within 3 working days because the markets work only from Monday to Friday. And so if you're buying stock right now, you might have to wait a little bit until Wednesday for you to be able to see those shares on your SCD account. But regardless, you can open an account right now with Uganda Securities Exchange by opening an SCD account. You just have to visit their website, www.use.org.ug, and you look for Easy Portal. This Easy Portal will give you a good opening. You just need to take a picture of your national identification card, and then you take a picture of yourself, a passport picture of yourself, and post them on this account, and the rest is history. And all you need to get into access is your stock broker, and that money that of course you're planning to drink on the weekend, you can buy stock in Stanbic Bank really and drink the next weekend. That's how it goes. You make a sacrifice for your good, for your future, for your good future, which you would want to see when you have value for your money. Thank you for staying with us. We're going to take another quick breather. We return with our last segment with a couple of other performers on the markets, and also have a little look into Nairobi here and there and what opportunities it's providing. And we shall call it a day. See you around. Stick with us.